Hey, Tuesday night, Total Schmidt Show, 6 o'clock. Let's do this. Hey, tune in every week as I travel the world and I talk to entertainers from all over the world. A lot of writers, a lot of comics, a lot of dancers, a lot of singers, a lot of comics, a lot of producers, a lot of tech people, a lot of comics, a lot of pianists, piano player type people. You know what I'm talking about. Musicians and lots of comics. Every once in a while, we'll throw in a comedy sketch, something like that, some music, some travel stuff. We'll even do a live remote from one or two of the ports they happen to be hanging out at. That's it. That's the whole show. And I'm going to record it all and put it on the intraweb. Sometimes. Usually late. Always late. Maybe. I don't know. And weekly? Nah, maybe. Sort of. Either way, sit back, grab a beer, light a joint, and enjoy this week's episode of Hey guys, welcome to the Total Schmidt Show. It's Tuesday night at 6 o'clock, and this is my fourth attempt to do this video. Hey, you know the drill. I'm here. I talk to live entertainers every week at 6. Right now I'm doing the intro from the Carnival Firenze, which honestly might be the most beautiful cruise ship I've ever been on in my entire life. It's stunning. It's great. If you're a Patreon member, I'll do a video later this week on the Patreon page, and you can check out some of the artwork and stuff that's on here. It's really a stunning ship. I also have really bad allergies, so my head is clogged up really bad. So I'm going to try and get through this intro without my head exploding. Also, if you're a Patreon member, you might have noticed last week we did a live feed from a ship. We did a live Total Schmidt Show, and that's what this is. This is an edited version of the live video. If you want to be a Patreon member, go to Patreon, search at Mr. Lenny Schmidt or Mr. Lenny Schmidt, and join right there. You can join for as little as $1 a month, a couple dollars a month, whatever you want to do. But if you're a Patreon member, you get access to live feed shows sometimes, and we did one last week from a cruise ship. Last week was the Norwegian Prima. This week's episode is that episode. It's Quinn Patterson, good friend of mine, comic from Cleveland, that I worked with before, and I got to work with him last week. We did some improv on the ship, had him on the show. Enjoy the show, enjoy the conversation. Do me a favor, if you like the video you're watching on YouTube, just like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're watching, look above me, below me. There's all kinds of information on there for you to follow me in social media, Mr. Lenny Schmidt. Also support the show, subscribe to the channel. If you want to support financially, I take Venmo, Cash App, all that stuff. It's all in the tickers above me and below me. There's a guy behind me looking at the screen. It's very creepy and weird. Sit back and enjoy my conversation with Mr. Quinn Patterson. I'm on the Norwegian Prima for the first time, and this is my good friend Quinn Patterson. There he is.
How's everyone?
Yeah, and he's we're working together this week. We have one more show each left on the week, and then we're out of here. We did the theater a couple nights ago and crushed in there, and it's been a great week. It's been a lot of fun. It was good catching up with Quinn, who's from Cleveland, and now he's here on the Prima.
Yeah.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
No problem, man. I'm glad
people out there. Thank y'all for watching.
They'll tune in at some point. This is usually how people make fun of me now, or people correcting my mistakes.
Okay.
They'll be like, "Your sound's out." I go, yeah, I know. I fucked that up. Sorry. Horrible. Dude, great week. This is a really good week.
Yeah.
Plus, with the other entertainers, we've been hanging out with Paige and another guy named Jazz, who's the juggler. And I didn't really see Patty that much. I feel bad. I thought I tried to get her number, and you know what I mean? I haven't seen her anywhere.
Well, Paige just talked to her tonight, and we invited her. Well, Paige invited her to dinner. She's doing a fast, so it might be a religious thing. Health thing. So
no,
but she's really nice. And,
yeah, that's cool.
And I talked to some customers who said she had a fantastic show, so that was cool.
Oh, I saw one of them. Yeah,
did you? Yeah, and I try to get the customers to, if they could, let them know, because it's definitely encouraging when you hear from the customers and they appreciate what you do. So.
Yeah.
So it's been great.
Well, the feedback in the room, this is on the Prima. This is my first time here. Their comedy room is really small. It's weird. But the feedback's been great. Again, shows are always packed. People are coming out. They loved all their shows so far. So, the crowd's been really supportive.
Very.
This is a big ass shit, man.
And I love to, not to go back on that, but when the comments let both of us know, like I've had a lot of customers say, "Hey, you were great." Yeah. And Lenny was too. Yeah. And I always try to let the other comics know that too, because sometimes we just need that little reinforcement. It feels good. So. Yeah.
Plus, like you said, we were talking about the other day. If you're good, it looks good on me. It helps everything. Absolutely. Every entertainer. Both the comics are good as well. You want them both to be good.
Absolutely.
Because they see you kill, no, we'll go tomorrow. Because if you don't do well, they're like, we're not going to go.
Exactly. And that's what I love about the welcome, because it's a split show. They get a taste of you, get a taste of me.
Yeah, that's a smart
they
move.
know what they like, or they like both. And then it's a reflection of the comedy club.
Yeah, right.
Because when it's packed, hey, we like them both.
Yeah, and then they come out and they see different ones.
Yeah.
And then or they get an idea of who they like or who they're interested in.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And we know what it is. Sometimes it can be used, it could be me, it could be both. But,
No, everybody hears the same thing. Some people hear you're the greatest.
Yeah.
And then you don't hear shit.
Right.
Or stick with it.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
Or I've had people say you're good, but you're not as good as the other guy. Well, I'm always amazed at people that kind of have the balls to say it's your face.
I know, right? Well, how about, hey, you were great. You were okay too. I'm like, wow, okay. Why am I here?
I had some guy that was on what I think we were on. You know what? Choir Man was on that shit. Was it the Getaway Escape or whatever? Okay. It was a Getaway, and there was this guy who pulled me aside after a show, and I mean, was just criticizing me like crazy. I couldn't stop. He went to a family show, then he went to an adult show, and he had a huge problem with the adult show. And he kept breaking it down. He goes, you don't need this, you don't need that. I go, hey man, that's why we have two different shows. And I was trying to just get out of the conversation, and be polite and move on.
Absolutely.
But then later I found out this guy was kind of a pain everywhere. And there was a scene in the Choir of Man before COVID. Remember, there's a scene where the guy sings to the girl and he does his kiss thing, and then he turns. So it was like an old vaudeville move. But the guy did it in Choir of Man. And then it was that guy's wife that I'm talking about. Oh, and he was furious. Yeah, I mean, he wanted beat the actor up furious. Jeez. Where he came to the local a couple times looking for the guy. Yeah, and security and entertainment had to go, sir. It's just it's a show. It's just an entertainment show. But this guy would have none of these. No, you don't. It's not proper. Blah, blah, blah. Some people, they know what entertainment's supposed to be, and they're wrong.
Yeah, right. But they know.
Yeah, and they'll be like. That's why I always tell people, well, if you don't like it, then don't go watch it. There's so much, and there's a million things going on.
So many things to do, and I want to tell them that, but I get a little nervous because I don't want to come across. But if I'm not your cup of tea, that's fine. Lenny might be,
right,
and if he's not, then Choir Man might be, or Burn the Floor, or whatever they have,
Right. So what ship are you up to next, brother?
I leave here, and then I go on to the Breakaway. And
right on.
That's going to be interesting because the last time I was on a Breakaway in the end of December, beginning of the year, I ruptured my Achilles on stage.
Oh, geez, that's right. You told me.
I did.
While you were skipping or something.
Yeah, I was skipping. Of all things, man. No fascinating story. It's like, I was skipping.
Did you move quick a weird way or something? Or did you just...
When I skip?
Yeah. Well, when you this particular time, was there something different about it? Or, you know what I mean? Like...
I don't. It was just.
It scares me. I work out a lot. And I'm like, when I make one wrong move.
I don't even know why that was even a part of my act. But I just know when I made that final land, I could feel it. And this is a 45-minute set. I'm 20 minutes in, and I have to finish or have to decide on the fly, do I want to finish? Yeah. I couldn't walk. I couldn't even move. I was like leaning.
Right.
Like I was going to fall. And somebody in the audience said, "Sit down." So I sat down and finished the rest of the show.
Dude, look at you, dude.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
I mean, that's cool, dude. Yeah. I've done a show after breaking a foot or something. I did an improv at Harold once. I did a whole half a Harold on a broken foot. Oh, my God. I did actually 3 times. Once in Ohio, I sprained my right ankle. But getting on a cruise ship once, I was walking up to the stage. And as I walked up, I missed the step or whatever and fell. And the corner hit the front of my calf. The shin? Yeah, the shin. So it hurt really bad. I was like, oh, man, that really hurts. And I was on stage and I just kind of walked it off, was talking to the crowd. But as I was up there, I could feel my legs swelling. And I could feel I felt blood dripping. I go, oh shit, I cut it. Yeah. I go, oh, no, that's not good. So I finished the show, went to the back of the room and pulled it up and looked at it. And there was the other entertainer, somebody else was there, and like, oh my God! And it was like, it was like blue, dark blue and black and stuff. Man. So I iced it for like 2 days, and I did my shows all week. But then when I flew home, when I flew home, it's when you fly, it swells your
altitude.
So I landed in Denver, and I was in a lot of pain. So I had to go see medical there, and they said when you get home, get X-rays and stuff. And it happened to be a 3-day window when I didn't have insurance. Something happened. I can't remember what it was. It was in between policies, but I went instead of. I could have waited, but I didn't. And boom, I got nailed with it was
major bill.
About $12,000 in ER and all this other crap. And I couldn't because in my entire adult life, dude, it's probably the only 3 years of my entire adult life I haven't had insurance. Yeah, from the age of 22 on. You know what I mean? I'm like, what are the odds that happens?
And look at the physicality from doing comedy. It's not sports, man. This is
I know, right?
We're doing comedy, banging ourselves.
That's
up,
what I'm thinking. I'm like, how bad can it be?
right?
I fall. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me, swelling. You know.
But one of the cool things about comedy too is even when I was in that excruciating pain and still getting the laughs, the adrenaline was taking the pain.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like, you know, it felt worse when I got off, but during the time I knew something was wrong, but I didn't let it get to me because you was still feeling that love from the audience.
Right.
But no sooner as it was over, it was bang.
Did you walk back to your cabin?
Yeah, I had to get a boot.
Really?
Yeah, so they gave me a boot, and I walked around in the boot for about 3 days.
Yeah.
Because we had to wait till we got back to New Orleans so I could go to
Right.
ER.
Right.
Because they didn't have like a MRI machine on the ship.
How long were you laid up again?
A week.
Oh, you were laid up a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because we had to wait for the agency to say whether I could stay or not.
Well, how much work did you lose after that though? Like how much did you stay?
Oh man, I lost like 5 contracts. Yeah,
man.
No
really?
income for 3 months, January, February, March. I just got, this is my first show back. And it's been a pleasure working with you, man. It was so cool. Because I could imagine somebody, you know, like, oh my God, this is going to be a long week. So to know that it was you, it's great. And
yeah, no, that made it good, but I can't believe 3 months of work, dude. I couldn't
afford I was panicking, bro. Money's just draining and the bills don't stop.
No,
of course, they just keep coming. So
that's not good, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're working again.
Yeah, me too, because I started as a host.
Yeah, right.
Last time
First time we worked, he was a
I was host.
They used to do 3 comics here, and one was a host and 2 headliners. And now he's out there. So
yeah, cool.
Dude, and well deserved. You crushed it this week.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. I was nervous, not that you would put pressure on me, but to have started as a host and now I'm working somewhat on the same level. I'm like, I hope I can pull my weight because I knew what you could do. I've seen you.
Yeah.
And I used to envy you guys, man. I'd be as a host in the club hearing that laughter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can I get that?
Yeah.
Because as a host, I'm on every show. So I'm trying to jigsaw puzzle.
That's the heavy load, bro.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the coldest. It's the hardest spot. You walk up cold.
It taught me a lot.
Yeah. No. Well,
so
that's
you gotta use it.
A lot of people start out doing that. It always teaches you.
Yeah.
You know, you got to break the ice yourself. And now here we're kind of doing it ourselves anyway.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
So all that practice I had prior to, I just kind of go back to that.
Yeah.
So.
And where you can walk up and own the stage immediately.
Yeah,
because that's what you got to do is walk up there and make it your own right away.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. Well, dude, that's good, dude. Well, the theater show was great, dude.
I couldn't believe that. I've had people come up to me at dinner or lunch or whatever, and they were mad because they couldn't get in the theater. Now we talk about the club. Yeah, club's small,
right?
So we get that.
Right.
But when you hear about the theater, dude, that's like music.
Yeah, there were people. There were quite a few people. Really
yeah.
And I was because it only holds. I don't know whatever it holds.
It's about 800.
That's what they said. I mean, the comedy room is small because a lot of people like, and every show, people are like, "When's the next theater?
When is the next theater?"
Yeah,
right.
Sorry, man.
You know, and then they get so disappointed, and you just like, oh, it's not us.
It was like the beginning of my show tonight, 2 to 7. The chairs were full, but it wasn't standing room like it has been all the other shows.
Okay,
but 15 minutes into my show, it was standing room. They came
nice.
In. I think people walked by like, oh shit.
They had to prepare themselves. Let's eat first. You know how he makes us laugh.
Well, plus it's such a long, like people said they've been standing in line forever to get into the show. People are like, I'm just going to wait. And people walked in at the last minute. So either way. And then at the end of the show, I go, all right, look, they keep changing our schedule. There's a change for here. I'm going to tell you what it is right now. I'm going to tell you what's going on. I go, tomorrow night, no comedy. And boo. And I'm like, I didn't make the schedule. I didn't make it. I go, but then the next night, the last night, I go, I'm on 7 and Quinn's on 9 for adult show and stuff. So they were like, yay. So, yeah, so we should be in good shape.
Yeah, that's cool. It was like weird when I got the call and I was just like, what's going on? The musical schedule, you know, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Because, I take it as maybe they just want us to end out the week.
Yeah. Plus, maybe they wanted another show, another adult show.
And it's easier for us as well because it's not much. We don't require much.
Well, that's why they'll tell us you're going to do up to X amount of shows. You know what I mean? And you're like, so I'm always prepared to get more shows thrown at me. I'm always like, all right, I guess we're going to do another show, especially the nights off that we had this week. Yeah. The only thing I was bummed about was they called me yesterday.
Oh, for the NFL. Yeah, you would have missed that, right?
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, no problem. Click and I'll get the schedule. I'm like, I have the NFL draft this tomorrow. Some days people will be watching this podcast, and Caleb Williams will be a superstar with the Bears. And they're going to draft him tomorrow.
Are they going to take him?
I'm sure they take him first pick.
How does he do? Does he do well?
I think he's going to be great. We'll see, man. I was talking to Paige about it. She's so funny in the sports.
Oh yeah, she knows everything. Bro.
Yeah,
like I have to step my game up to even talk to her.
It's amazing. She's on top of it all.
Yeah,
but we know like the first three or four picks, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Okay,
I know that. It gets interesting after 4, because then if Marvin Harrison is still around at 5 or 6, now the Bears have an option to trade up to get him. I mean, now things get weird, and a lot of teams, people started trading up and down after the first 4 picks. Because everybody knows the Bears and the Commanders. Quarterback is going to be. There's 4 quarterbacks are probably going to go.
Are all of them good?
Yeah, they're all great. That's the debate.
Like that.
Well, Caleb Williams is supposed to be the greatest, and for years, or for months, I've been arguing, going, don't take him. Really? I wanted to keep Fields. Let's just keep Fields.
Really?
Yeah, but then my brother's opposite of that.
Okay.
And the more I read into it, I'm like, all right, I guess this makes sense. And they loaded him up with players around him. I mean, he's got a great offense now.
So it's just a matter of what he does with it, huh?
Yeah, but all these people say he's supposed to be the greatest. And the more I hear that the guy's the greatest, the more I'm worried. Especially a rookie coming out of
it's a lot of
college,
hype, you know.
Yeah.
And I wonder how they feel, you know, as far as getting all that pressure.
He seems like he's got
handling it well.
Yeah, he had a bunch of interviews today. It seems like he's got his shit together. He wants to go. He says all the right things. He's like, I know this. I know that he's only talked to the Bears for the last 6 weeks.
Okay.
So it looks like, and the Bears have only talked to him. So I mean, it's pretty obvious.
So that's just a matter of negotiation, then,
right? And then the Bears even talked to his father, who's handling his contract. So I think that's pretty good. But I know he wants to go to the NFL. He wants to be the same team for a long time. And he wants to win a bunch of
championships. Do they all say that? And then once you get in and see what it's like, it might change? Because I know LeBron gets a hard time.
Well, I hope that's not the case with the Bears, because they got a bad reputation for quarterbacks.
Do they?
Yeah, the worst. But they've never been in a situation to draft the best quarterback in the world on the board. You know what I mean? They got McMahon years ago.
Oh yeah, he won a Super Bowl with them.
He did win a Super Bowl
with the Frizz. Was the Frizz on that team?
Yeah, that was the '85 Bears. And he probably would have played longer. He got hurt a lot, and wrongfully won Charles Martin cheap shot.
Was that the Steelers game? Somebody picked him up.
That was the Packer game.
That was a Packer game.
Yeah, Charles Martin picked him up, slammed him.
I remember that.
Lacerated his kidney.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he came back, not long after that. The guy he was tough. Tough as nails.
Sunglasses. And he had the sunglasses. Yeah. That was his thing.
But the Bears, they loved him in Chicago because he was, leader and badass.
Nice.
So we'll see. Whatever. We'll see what happens.
And you guys have the infamous Second City, Chicago.
Yeah, dude. You and how did that work in Cleveland? Now you did.
It was great. Yeah, it was cool for a while. I had a really good time. It didn't last. I don't know what the issue was. It might have been a business thing or what have you. But while it was there, it was great. It was great for me because I didn't know anything about improv. Right. I just knew that there was a scene coming in, an improv scene. I didn't even know much about improv, but I was in the stand-up community, and everybody was like, "We're gonna take classes," and I'm like, "I don't know what this is, but I have money saved. I'm gonna take classes too."
Yeah.
And that's how I dived in, and then I started to kind of learn on the fly, and then eventually I ended up getting cast in the main stage.
Nice. That's huge.
Yeah, it was scary. It was scary because those guys, my cast members, were so talented, and they have been doing it for years. Some of them at the Improv Olympics, some at Second City.
Right.
And here I am just coming off the street, like, I want to do this too.
So you're on main stage.
So I had to, and then I'm on main stage. It got even more intense, but good experience. I got to meet Tina Fey, Fred Willard, may rest in peace. So some cool people that I met that are alumni.
Fred was amazing. I mentioned I worked with Fred a bunch of times.
Yeah, he was really nice, very nice, very humble guy.
Dude, that's it made. I did the same similar. I was doing stand up before.
Okay.
And then went into improv. Made me a better comic.
I think so too.
Yeah.
To be in the moment, the yes and the crowd is the yes.
Yeah. Exactly. That's why you can play off the crowd so well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're not trying to force a joke on it.
It's just, be in that moment. Own it.
Yeah.
So.
And plus, that makes for a live show.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
They're into it.
And that's what I got from you guys, man. I watched a lot of you guys, Princess Acevedo, that crowd work, and it's natural.
Vince's whole act is fucking the crowd.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I didn't take the whole act.
Everybody gives a shit about it. He's really good at it.
I'm
not knocking you at all, Vince, but everybody.
He's good at it.
Yeah, he's really good.
And I think sometimes that jealousy, because he's.
I think because anytime someone's good at something, other people are hating.
That's all he does.
Stupid.
But it's
stupid. It's like that old Carrot Top. You know the Carrot Stuff story?
I do not.
It's funny. He's hanging around at the Improv, and he was at the edge of the bar, and he's established by now. Everybody knows who he is. Carrot Top. He's a big name. He's at the bar, he's drinking, and there's a bunch of open micers at the end of the bar, and they're complaining. He could hear them. They're making fun of him. Have fucking prop acts, blah, blah, props. And they order a bunch of drinks, and then the bartender, Eddie, comes over and goes, and they go, "Here's how much we owe." And he goes, Scott picked him up. He goes, "What?" And Carrot Top got up and said, "Your drinks were just bought by a hack act," and turned around and walked out the door.
Nice.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Nice. Don't have to say nothing.
No, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And he just skipped all the way to Vegas.
That reminds me of a story. I don't know. Maybe you could, co-sign it if it's true or not. But Dave Chappelle and Dane Cook situation.
Oh, the Laugh Factory.
Tell me that.
I just read about this.
I always is that when he? I think Chappelle was going to do a guest spot.
Yeah, I literally just saw the story a few weeks ago.
You got it?
Yeah, I got exactly what happened. He goes to
I love this story. I'll be messing.
Well, I remember too because at the Laugh Factory, Dane had nights. Dane had his own night. Okay, yeah. So Chappelle comes into the Laugh Factory one night, and it's a night when Dane's there. And Jamie, who's the owner of the Laugh Factory, looks at Dave and goes, "It's Dane's night." And Dave's like, "What are you talking about? It's Dane's night." He goes, "It's Dane's night. It's him, it's all his friends, Dane and his friends." He goes, "Do me a favor," because Chappelle's famous for going up and doing like hours. He'll just go up and do like an hour, 2 hours, any open mic anywhere. Okay. In fact, I have another story to tell you after this one.
I'm with it. I love it.
He comes to the Laugh Factory and he goes, Jimmy goes, "You can't go up, but if you go up, but just do 10 minutes, please. You got to keep it to 10, And Dave's like, "All right, yeah, man, no problem." So he goes up, he does 10 minutes on the nose. He tells the crowd, he looks at the crowd and goes, "Hey man, that's 10 minutes. I got to go. That's apparently it's Dane's night, and Dan and his friends have the show. So I'm done for the night. But if any of you want to talk or take pictures or anything, I'll be on the parking lot smoking for the next 2 or 3 hours. You just want to hop by and say hello." He leaves. The whole crowd got up and flipped the park.
I thought it was great, man.
That's a great story.
No offense to Dave, but I just love the story. It's like,
it's a really good
how
story.
powerful is that?
Yeah, it's a really good story.
Maybe you could have let him get 10 more minutes.
Yeah. And he hung around and smoked, took pictures all day long.
That's hilarious.
But he did. When I met him, I worked in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay. Because he's in Yellow Springs. So.
Yeah. And back then, this was right around the time of the show. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Before he left and disappeared for a short period of time.
Okay.
He was already well established as a great comic. Everybody knew who he was. And he used to come into the Wiley's all the time and work out. That was his workout room for a long time. So I was in there, was headlining that weekend, and he came in on a Friday, and Rob came up to me, the owner. He goes, "Hey, Dave's going to come in, and he wants to do some time tonight." I go, "Oh, no, that's cool." I go, "Yeah, I want to meet him. That'd be great." So I met him, and he goes, "I'm going to go up after you, if that's okay." I go, "Dude, I have no problem with that. Is that cool?" He goes, "I just want you, because you're headlining, I don't want you to think I'm coming and stepping on your shit. But I'm going to go up after you." All right. That's cool. And I was like, "Yes," because if he goes up before me, I'm fucked. You know what I mean?
Right.
He goes up, there's an hour and a half. I'm going up, hi, so he did the late show each night, Friday and Saturday. And I did my set. And a lot of the crowd, first night didn't, or second night, they knew he was there. But people always know he could pop in. Right. So sure enough, he goes up, one night he did 45 minutes, one night he did like an hour and 10 or something. He's just kind of messing around late at night. And then we sat in the green room and I got high all night. That was the only time I ever met him. And
wow.
But he was cool.
You got paid for that week?
Yeah, I headlined the week. Dave came in, did his time, and Rob was like, "You can do as much as you want, man. Dave will do whatever you want." He went after.
That's awesome, man.
But he was so cool to just come up and just say to me,
chill.
He's like, "Man, I'm going to go up after you, just so you know." Because he could have just said, "You're going." I know that he's bumped guys before. I know he's walked into a place, and Dave's gone, "I want to go out tonight." And they told the headliner, he's like, "You're off. You're done. You can go home." You know what I mean?
That's hilarious, bro.
This is fucking Dave Chappelle.
At least you got to go first as a headliner. I worked Brad Garrett's room, buddy of mine, Cowboy Bill Martin, William Lee Martin now, took me to Vegas to do the Brad Garrett room. And I was excited. It's Brad Garrett. It's a different room, a different venue. It's Vegas.
High energy, man. It's all the,
All right, but I was under the assumption, me being the newest one or the newer one on the group, that I would be the host. Yeah. Then Brad and William Lee.
Yeah.
No, I got there. They had the little marquee with the names on it and the times. Brad's going first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm following this, bro. And I'm in the back listening to the roar of the crowd.
Yeah, he just crushed his tail.
And he gave me the most magnificent intro I've ever had in my life. None of it was true.
Yeah.
But, so it's like, come on, man. And I went out there and didn't do well. Didn't do well. Definitely a memorable experience.
Yeah, dude. I always tell people when I work, I'll be there in like 2 weeks, I think, or mid-May. But I do the feature spot there. But I still go up after him doing. In fact, now they don't use an opener anymore.
No, it's just a 2-minute show.
There's just during the week they'll have an opener, but when Brad's there, they don't have an opener. So Brad opens, does 30, brings me out. I do 15.
Okay.
Brad goes back out, does another 30, brings the headliner out, does 20.
Brad goes out and does whatever he wants.
Oh,
so the whole night is his show.
So, yeah.
He used to go up and then bring up the MC and make it a long night. But they also have a tight window there. It's a Vegas room. So they have a strict 90-minute rule.
Okay.
Where that show's going to be done in
90
minutes.
Gotta be done.
Yeah, because they want people
so
to
everybody. And that makes you have to be, I think you should be good on your time regardless.
I'm a huge stickler of that. There's all this bullshit. I hate with these people. I lost track of time.
No, come on.
Nothing pisses me off more than that.
Because if you say that, then that's how unprofessional you are.
You're totally
You should know your time.
Yeah, dude. On TV, you're surrounded by people counting you down.
And you coming off early.
Yeah, and before you did the show, don't tell me you didn't rehearse it a million times to come in at 5 on the nose. Come on. You know what I mean? You know time. So every time a guy does that bullshit to me, I really hate it. I hated it in clubs. Like Carlos Mencia used to do that.
Okay.
He would go in and he would do an hour and a half, 2-hour show. And the waitresses hate him. Because at the end of the night, the waitresses, a lot of these waitresses are moms, single moms, family. Yeah. This is their second job. Absolutely. They don't want to be hanging in a club till 1:30 in the morning.
I got things to do in the morning.
Yeah. Or get home, or even worse, I got a sitter. I got to go home and get rid of the sitter. So it would drive them nuts. So I was real stickler. When I headline, I'm like, I'll be done. I would tell them, they would ask, when are you done? I go, I will be done no later than 11 o'clock.
I'll be done.
Yeah.
Unless I have to help
you. When do you want me done? When do you want me done?
Is checks taking long?
Yeah. Checks I'll drop it. If they're running late, let me know. But when do you want me done?
It's a team thing. Yeah. It's a team thing all the way around. And I always speak from the things that we're talking about now is things that I did.
Yeah.
But you would think if you have longevity in this game, you mature.
Yeah.
And you learn not to do that no more.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I was always like that. I had to learn.
Yeah.
But once you learn and then you sit back and watch it happen now, you're like, I used to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm always amazed when comics go long. I don't get it, man. It's a real, the time thing is so, you know what I mean? It's just a simple rule.
Just get out. If they loving you, leave them wanting more.
Yeah, if they're
not liking you, get up out of there.
Crushing, don't burn it to the ground. You know what I mean? If it's going on.
I know,
right? It's real shitty on a ship too, because on a cruise ship sometimes these people, the staff, their schedule's tight.
They have things to do.
Yeah, dude. They figure when your show's over at 9:30, I got 30 minutes. I can go put my clothes I can smoke a cigarette, throw my clothes in the wash, and go for my next shift. But if you go 20 minutes long, suddenly like, well, now I can't put the laundry in. Now I can't do it until tomorrow. And now, it's a tight window for these guys.
And it's funny because it's the same with us.
Yeah.
We have our rituals, our routines.
Yeah.
We know our time frame. And hey, Lenny's coming up next, so I want to make sure I get off on time because he wants to do his whole full hour, 45 or whatever.
Right.
So it's a team thing. We gotta look out for it. I don't care because I used to be the type. I want to be better than the headline. I don't. You know what I want to be? I want to be an intricate part of the show.
Yeah.
And not the one that they hate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be one they hate. But I want to make it a good show all the way from top to bottom. It's not about outdoing anybody. It's like you said with the theater. It was that. That was both of us, bro.
That was really good.
That was both of us.
That was a great show.
And I don't dwell on that stuff, but sometimes I do.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. I mean, that was a really good one.
To see that.
This woman, tonight after the show, she's like, that's you in the theater. She's like, when are you going to do that? Again, I was like, right. Going back in there. She goes, this is good here, but that was a great.
And we're not competing with each other. No. But I will say this. I'm competing with the bigger musical acts. I'm competing with the magicians. I'm competing with in the sense of, I want them to come to my show just as much as yours.
Sure, right.
Well,
I do we're talking about this trying to blow people away thing. And I've never followed that. My belief on stage has always been to go on stage and be present and feel the room and do my best. Those three things together. I don't think I'm going to do this and this. Now, when I'm in the moment and I'm up there and I start to read the room. Moment. Yeah, you start to read the room, you go, oh shit, this is going well. That means I can do this, this, and this. Right. And there are times like that night, I'm like, I get to about halfway through and I go, this is money now. I got 8 minutes left, 6-minute closer. This is going to be like, but hope just. And everything was just like,
and that's how funny. It's so funny how you say that because we're thinking it in our heads.
Yeah.
While we're performing.
Yeah.
But
you got to be the being present part of it is so important because I always tell comics that what kills you is expectation. When you go before you're in the wings and you go, I'm gonna kill, and you go out there, you get 2 jokes in, it's not going well. Now you're in your head. Now you're sweating. Now you're pushing. Now you're forcing, as opposed to going out there, making the room yours, becoming present,
chips fall
and then let it work out, right, and then ride it out.
Absolutely.
I mean? And then go to the crowd when you have to. You know what I mean? There are a couple you made a bunch of references early on where they're there.
Yeah,
they're not there.
Call them if need be.
Yeah, and then call them back later, which makes it even stronger.
Absolutely. So, how long do you feel it takes to get like that, or do you feel some people never?
Oh, I got to say, some people never.
Really?
Yeah, I know comics I know that are working for a long time that don't change their act at all.
What is that?
I don't know. There are guys that they have a set act with jokes. They do the same set and jokes all the time. And I'm actually not knocking them. If that works for them, that's great. But it's uncomfortable. It would be uncomfortable for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some of the hardest times for me are right before I record my new album, because then I am very material sensitive. Everywhere I am, I got to make sure I do the bits so I get them worded right, so that when I tape them the following week, they're ready. So those are the hardest weeks for me, because a lot of times I can't be present. I mean, I'm present, but I've got to be focusing on the material.
On the material.
Yeah.
Okay.
But once you get past that, and it's better to go on stage. I have an outline always, and then sometimes I don't even do the outline.
No.
I'll go.
But it's cool to have that outline.
Yeah.
Because then you can venture off, but I know I can always go back to that because I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
my thing is always know your time slots. Like your thing, I had closures. I got a bunch of closures. I got one closure that's 10 minutes long, one that's 6. I got 3 that are 1 minute long. You know what I mean? And I just know right away. I just check the watch, and that's why when things are going well, and I get to that 7-minute mark, I go, man, I'm gonna roll into the 6 minute.
Because I can do any one of these.
Yeah. And depending on one's clean, one's not, one's adult, and some are both. But I'll know going in. I'll check read the crowd, see how it's going, and then I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna stay on this beat about my daughters real quick, and I'm gonna close.
Because I can
1 minute out. Yeah, and then I'll do a quick 1 minute, and then because then it saves. Then the other thing is I'm saving a 6-minute closer for a show
for something else,
which is something we deal with on the ship more than like a regular week club, because we have to do multiple shows for the same audience.
And I'm like, even with us talking now, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
You know, I'm new to the ships as far as headlining goes, you know, and it's a hard game.
Well, you should always be, I don't know, you should always be learning. I learn all the time.
Some people don't, but some people know it all, Lenny. Right? Some people know it all. I'm telling you.
I've been told.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been corrected and told wrong many times.
So, but I love the learning aspect of it too, because like you said, you can always learn something. And with the ship, it's just a different ballgame.
Well, that's why the ship thing is so cool, man, because if you have that attitude where you're always learning, and you're on a ship like this, you're doing multiple shows, or you're constantly trying to improve and do different material. Every week is like a different kind of, it's a step or a journey, a step in the right direction. It's a week of growth every single time. You know what I mean?
So how do you feel? I feel like this is my podcast. This is my podcast.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's a big difference between comedy on the ship versus comedy in the club?
Yeah. Well, there's a million differences between the two, and then there's a lot of similarities.
Is it? What can you give me?
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest thing, like a lot of guys hate the ships and they think they're stupid. Like some guys have management and they're bigger names, and they don't do ships. They go to a theater, they sell, they fill. Jim Gaffigan's not a great example of it, but there's other guys that are big enough, they can go out and they have a marketability following.
Like a Bill Burr, Joe Coy.
Well, Bill Burr, those guys are huge. Those guys are really huge. Like Stanhope is a good example. Stanhope is a total cult following. You know what I mean? There are people that love him.
He has his base.
Everybody's got a base now.
Nice.
But that's kind of what the podcast thing did for everybody.
Okay.
It gave you a base of people that you can go around everywhere. Here, we're in a lot of ways, when their introduction to us is we're just the comic. They don't know what to expect.
Right.
And the way to make this business, the comedy thing on ships work, I ended up on ships because I needed the money. That's when I started here. But to make it work, I think, is to be able to do your act on the ship and be proud of it and not sell your soul. You know what I mean?
Now, what's selling your soul?
Well, selling your soul is like, there's a lot of shows that you got to be clean.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Now, but if you can still be clean with an edge and talk about the things you want to,
I agree.
Then you're doing the right thing. If that works for you,
absolutely.
Some guys can't work clean at all. They've got to have that shop card in their pocket.
Now, can I say this, and you can tell me whether I'm correct or not? Because people always say, "What's harder, being clean or being edgy, dirty, blue, whatever you want to call it?" And I feel like they're equally hard.
Yeah.
In a sense that, if you're a clean comic, Lenny, it's hard for you to be dirty. You can throw in cuss words and this and that to try to make it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that, you're doing well, so to speak.
No, there are a lot of guys that with these shifts, they started bringing these adult shows, they had trouble going the other way.
Yeah, and that's why I always say, because I hear so much, it's hard to be clean. It's like, I don't know. If you're clean.
I think being forced to be clean makes you a better writer because you have to be more picky about your words.
Right.
Because once I got on the ships, there was I was worried about being clean all the time. And I brought like every notebook I had, everything I could think of. And I went through a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff I'm like, oh, this is clean. I go, if I drop this joke and this word, that's a clean bit.
It's a clean bit.
You know what I mean? And I had a lot more stuff like that than I thought I did. You know what I mean?
Because we put so much pressure on ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
And like even the one bit I did this closing bit is a lot about it's about hooking up with someone for the first time and all that stuff. That bit could be, if I wanted it to be, could be clean. Could be TV clean. If I drop the F-bomb out of it,
absolutely,
and drop one joke out of it, it's technically a late night. I can make it a late night joke.
Have you done it in the clean?
Oh yeah, I have done. I've done it. I did it on a celebrity ship once in a clean show.
Okay,
and it went great. I mean,
because it's edgy, but it's clean, right?
It is, yeah. And it's not like a filthy sex show. It's more about it's about being in the moment, in a relationship with a person. You know what I mean? And then there's like 3 funny, and it's all associated stuff that people.
And what the audience is, you know, a lot of times comics don't give audience enough credit, but they like it when you go to the edge.
Yeah.
Because they waiting for you to go over, but when you don't, it's like, okay.
Yeah. But I think that's why the clean thing is like, I got the compliment tonight too about the clean show. A lot of people just like clean comedy.
They just like clean comedy.
But if you can be clean and bring it to an edge, that's what comedy's supposed to do.
I agree.
And just get right there. If you go too far over and it's filthy, and I don't do that. I've never, the dirtiest thing I do is I did 2 nights ago, I think, in the adult show, which was the bit where you're, is that the
one when I came out?
I think so.
When you were cussing me out. Lenny's cussing me out, you guys.
Oh, I think,
you said he was going to come to the fucking show and he's not even here. I'm sitting in the back.
I didn't know. He was in the green room. He was right behind me. He was literally 3 feet away
I'm glad I was there because this could have really got brutal.
No, but yeah, that was the show. This whole bit about being a young guy and not being able to get it out.
Oh, yeah.
That's the bit.
I was there for that.
And that's easily the dirtiest bit that I
wasn't
probably do. No, it's not. It's not that, but it's not filthy. As long as you know, as long as you find your line,
absolutely,
and you walk it, I think that's really.
And that's being who you are, right?
Yeah, yeah. No,
because that's hard, right? Like that's who you are.
Yeah.
The way you are the same to me on stage as well as off.
Yeah,
and I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I think you're like I'm a little bit more of an over amplification on stage when I'm off. I just want to be myself on stage.
But that's hard though. I was gonna get to the next question. How long does it take? I've heard 5, I've heard 3, 10. How long does it take to find this?
I think it's 7 years.
7 years? Is that like just somebody's quote?
That's what it was for me.
7.
And the thing was that every time I got to another year, I thought it was there. Like, oh yeah, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it. Oh yeah, I got it.
But you evolve though, right?
Yeah.
You grow, you get older.
Yeah. So no, from 7 on, I feel like I've always been myself on stage. I got that. But now,
what were you before?
Well, I was always just trying to be funny, and I could be overly dirty. I could push. You know, I would just do jokes for the sake of being funny.
Okay.
I wouldn't be completely truthful and honest about certain situations.
Did you know? You knew inside, like I'm robbing them, so to speak.
No,
like
I knew I was also doing well. I was featuring and doing on the road early on. I always had high energy, and I was always,
okay. So
that was good. But I'm looking back on it from the year 7 on. I knew who I was on stage. I knew I could hear a joke and go, "That's not right for me."
Okay,
you know what I mean,
all right.
Like I could be
honest.
Yeah, and there were a lot of jokes I look at when I started because there was a bit I used to do years ago. I used to close with this PMS bit, and it was a whole bit about PMS, the whole thing. And the closing line was, it was funny because like I was all worked up, and I do the whole thing. I was PMS. She's frustrated, and there's a whole long bit. And I go, that's why it's called PMS because it pretty much sucks. And that was big. And people go, yeah. And I would go, good night, clam, and walk. Like I made this big statement, right? Like I did something cool. Yeah, right. So, and as time went by, I'm like, I can't do that. I screw away from the bit.
Oh, wow.
Become a better writer.
Even though it was getting a big,
no,
he was able to let it go.
It didn't mean anything.
That's awesome.
So,
but that's hard.
And then went back to Chicago. At one point, a friend of mine says, can you please do the PMS bit? And I go, no.
Can't do it.
And she was like, why? And I go, I can't, I just can't. No offense. And I want to say it's beneath me, but it's not. It's a cheap bit on PMS with word association and letter association. And it's kind of hackish premise.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Because none of that stuff, it was an over amplification of a situation, not an interpretation of something I was through.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So ever since then, everything else I do now is somehow interpreting the stories about my daughters with the alarm clock, the teaching them, talking to them about sex or oral sex. Well, those are true stories.
So is that a great feeling for you to be associated with these things from a personal standpoint?
Yeah, I try to take.
Can you perform it better because it's so real?
Yeah. Because that bit about talking to oral sex with them also has a point. The point is you have to communicate with your kids at a level that might seem uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
But you have to.
That's educating too, as well as being funny.
I think.
And you being a dad too,
And awesome, most parents, like a lot of parents will come. I've had parents come up to me upset about that.
Really?
And they're like, you can't talk like that about your daughter. So I'm like, shut, man, yes, I can. Like every parent in this room has had.
Yeah, come on.
They ask about sex, and you're like, oh, I can tell them this, but I can't tell them that. There's a line. in your head.
Right.
But you've got to tell them, especially nowadays, because if you don't, even before there was social media, if you didn't tell your kids the truth, they went out and found it.
They found
people,
right? Yeah, because you can always go to a friend's house where their parents just let them do,
or even worse,
at school,
an adult or someone that's uncomfortable, or a teacher, or this is where predators were big before.
Absolutely.
Before social media, they were always the voice for the kid that could go, "I'll tell you the truth. Come here."
Yeah, come here. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're not open with your kids, they're going to go out and look for that openness from somewhere else.
And the moment they find it, now you wish.
And now they're in danger.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So it's kind of the point of the bet. You know what I mean?
Got it. That's cool, man. Like I say, the learning aspect of this is just so many levels to it. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about the time, now we're talking about being ourselves. You find a lot of jealousy, envy in this business.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
How do you
There's always jealousy,
do that?
baby. I try not to, I ignore it if it comes my way.
Can you sense it? Can you tell?
Yeah, you can tell. And then, or a lot of times I'll try to ignore it. I'm just as guilty as it. You know, like if I see something, I go, how did I get that?
Yeah. See, I love that honesty.
You know what I mean? It's a part of you. It's hard because our business is, we're constantly seeking approval from an outside source at all times. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
On stage, every 30 seconds, 40, whatever your pace is. So you're looking for that. You're looking for bookings. You're looking for input from your agent. You're looking for views. You're looking for the crowd. You know what I mean? And you're constantly, the basis of the business is to get approval.
Right.
So when you see other people get approval, a lot of times you're like, oh,
how did they? I wanted that. Yeah. But, absolutely.
So it's a natural thing. But then you got to, like, you teach yourself, you focus on your own career. And like, I can be happy for it, but I'm not jealous, like angry jealous.
No, it's just like, man, or how do I get that? Or how'd you get that? You know? Because with the ships, it was like that for me starting off, but I was so dumb. I was just looking at the money. Right. Because I knew that the host was getting half of what the headliners were getting. Right. So I'm telling myself, I can headline. I know I can. I ain't never been on a ship ever in my life. Right. But I'm hearing the money, like, I could do that. Yeah, that would be great. Man, I know I can do that. Right. I got on here and hosted for a week and wanted to quit.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was horrible. Horrible. Some people probably like, you're still horrible. But
what do you mean was?
Yeah, right. But it was nerve-wracking, bro. It was just how it was with Flip Shots and Vince Acevedo, two powerhouses. Yeah. And here I am, this guy. Hi, it's like a Brad Garrett situation. Yeah. Like, hey. So, but those experiences helped me to become better. Well, dude,
that makes you stronger.
Me to work,
even more impressive.
Work hard.
Yeah. And you're here headlining. Yeah. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be, if you wouldn't have done it, if you wouldn't have done it right, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, true.
That's good.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, of course, dude.
Yeah, this has been a great week, man. I've had a great time.
Dude, it's great, man. I always mention this on the pod every once in a while, especially in Norwegian, because like there's a lot of entertainers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So every once in a while I'll be like, who's here? I'm like, oh, good. And like I get along with pretty much everybody.
That's awesome.
But it was cool to see that you were here.
Yeah, for sure. They had told me last week, because I was on with Brian Kellen. Right. And Brian was on with his wife, so I just kind of like, yeah, go ahead, man, because it's like a little vacation.
Yeah,
I know. Third wheel, like, hey, God. And so then partway through the week or the end, she said, yeah, you and Lenny will be together, and you're the only Lenny I knew, but she didn't say the last name. And when she said Schmidt, I was like, yeah, it was just like a sigh of relief, like, oh, yeah, cool. No, you're like, cool, we good, we good,
nothing to worry about.
But I'll say this too, I hadn't seen you for however long. Right. So I'm only going based off of what I remember.
Sure, pre-COVID, bro. At least 2 years before COVID.
So I'm like, man, I hope it's still the same.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Sometimes you could go in with these high expectations and it's like, yeah, he's changed. Or
that guy's a dick. What happened?
I wouldn't. Well, okay, yeah, probably would. But no, it's great.
He used to be cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm calling home, man. You know, Lenny Schmidt. Yeah. You know, comics do that, right? We talk. So
dude, no, it happens a lot. You're like, hey man, you heard what Quinn Patterson? Yeah. Let me ask you
a question. Yeah. Get all serious, man. And you hope you get the right response. Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah. You know, if they say something different, you're like, okay, I was just checking. I just want to know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I love there's a comic named John DeCross. He's been around a long time. He mainly works for Carnival.
Okay.
He's a great dude. But he also does a lot of voiceover work and a lot of characters.
Nice.
He's in Transformer movies and all kinds of stuff. Okay, cool. He's been around a long time. Does a lot of voices on stage. He's a funny dude. I call him a giant toddler. He's like, I swear, he's around my age, maybe a little older-ish, 60, around there. Okay. But he always has fun wherever the hell he's at. He's nice. This great guy. He's a great guy to hang with.
That's awesome.
He's a big skateboarder and all kinds of stuff. And it's funny. But he knows everybody has got such great sense of humor. I can go, hey, are you working? Hey, have you heard, like, tell me about Joe Smith, and it'll just be ha 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 ha, and he'll laugh,
and he
that's
knows.
it. He'll know.
Oh, that's it.
And
You
I'm
know
like,
what it is.
I'm like, oh no, this week's gonna suck. Right away, Sean laughed. He's like, enjoy your week.
Oh, you guys have colds. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but he's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
Let me ask you this real quick, because I know it's getting close, I guess. Top 3 comics and why?
Oh, dude, I hate rating comics, man, but I can tell you the 3 that are probably the biggest influence to me. Pryor, number 1.
Why is that?
Because he was real. He was real, and he brought pain on stage. It's the similar reason why Kinnison's up in that range too.
Okay.
Both Kinnison and Pryor could bring pain and suffering and anger on stage and make it funny to people. Their own pain, suffering, anger. You know, Pryor talked about shit that really hurt him, and Kinnison talked about stuff that really made him angry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that stuff really really worked for me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
The third, it's hard. Again, like I said, it's hard.
Them 2, Kinnison and Pryor.
There's 2, but then I'll give you probably 2.
Yeah, that's whatever. It don't have to be 3.
All right.
Whatever.
Well, I'll go to 2 more, maybe combined on a way. Richard Jeni and Louis Anderson.
Okay.
And Anderson, because he also could bring pain on stage. He was the first comic I saw live.
Okay.
And so he could bring pain, but not just pain, but pain from his family and suffering and upbringing on stage. And to me, that's what made comedy great when I was younger. I was watching people talk about their life in a way where I could watch and go, oh man, I'm going through that too. And you're right. It's kind of funny if you think about it, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
They made it funny.
Yeah. Right.
Nice.
So those are the ones. There was so much emotion and anger in what they did. And then the last one is Carlin, just because he was a genius and his work ethic was insane.
All right.
I mean, he was just a machine that wrote like crazy and was such a wordsmith. I could never be a wordsmith. Like Chris Rock was a wordsmith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. That's why his last special, the one he did live, I was so impressed with. No one's ever done that. Where he recorded it live.
Oh, yeah.
That was cool. Because I've seen him work on sets before and work on specials when he was hosting the Academy Awards. He came in the Improv all week.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like Seinfeld, Leonard, same thing. They're so pull that word out, they squeeze the words out that you don't need.
Okay.
Carlin was like that. Every word is valuable.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I tend to stutter on stage sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
Story,
yeah, I'm
just
like going, Yeah,
and I'll try to, like, if I'm going to make it for a thing or a 10-minute presentation or showcase, I'll do something that it's tighter and I won't stutter as much.
Okay.
But a lot of times I'm discovering on stage and I'm just kind of bad.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
You know what I mean?
Those are great.
Yeah, those are the guys I think. And not that there's not now, there's Bill Burr, I think is brilliant. And there's a million guys out there that are geniuses. And then Chappelle's up in that Pryor level.
Yeah,
now.
I agree.
Pryor and Chappelle are almost kind of like prophet type guys.
Yeah.
Where they say stuff that's so poignant, you're just like, fucking yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can listen to Chappelle could talk for 5 minutes, not gonna laugh. And then get a huge laugh.
He builds it.
Right? And you're like, oh, I get it. Yes, it all makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pryor had that ability as well.
So did Cosby, it's unfortunate,
Yeah.
You separate that, but he was great at that build up.
He was like that too. I always listened to when I was younger. I got nothing against it. As a comic, it was
as
brilliant.
a comic, yeah.
Storyteller,
I just
brilliant.
I try not to get into all of that. You ask me about him as a comic, then let's talk about that.
Right.
And if you want to talk about the other, I'd rather not.
It's kind of the same way I feel about Ted Nugent. When I love Ted Nugent as a guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
People hate his politics because he's a crazy right-wing shoot Hillary.
So he speaks
type
his
guy.
So in
his concert, it's a big deal. Talk about the Clintons. And I'll be like, just shut up and play guitar.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But but he jams. You know what I mean? Like,
but I love the music.
No, listen to his music. Yeah. People say, you listen to Ted Nugent? I go, don't knock the solo. The solo is great. Like, I'll just skip the 8 minutes about him hating Hillary. If I get past that.
He hates him like that.
Yeah, he's a really hardcore right.
Jeez.
Almost like a militia guy. You know what I mean?
That's why, I don't mess with politics, man. That's an immediate divide.
It's too much, bro.
Yeah.
And people can't have a different opinion without hating each other.
Without hating each other, man. You can just see the scowl on people's faces. You can see the transformation. So
well, dude, who are your top 3?
I love Red Fox.
Red Fox is great.
I love Red Fox because of his work ethic, and he was doing it at a time when you could only really do the chitlin circuit.
Yeah.
So he was able to break through into the mainstream.
Yeah.
A lot of people know him more so for Sanford and Son versus his albums that he had created prior to Sanford and Son. So I felt like he opened the doors for like a Pryor. And,
you're right, he did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least on that sense, in the what they would call blue or dirty or
whatever.
No,
you're 100% right. Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld was one of my favorites in the sense of what he did with comedy, man. Billionaire, man.
Yeah.
He took a stand, a microphone, and an audience, and turned it into $1 billion
empire
corporation.
Yeah.
He's very nice. I met him once. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
no trouble that I've ever heard of.
Yeah, no, you should think about that, especially this day and age.
Yeah.
When you're in trouble, somehow somebody finds out.
And his greatest maneuverability to me is when Kramer went on that rampage.
Oh, at the factory.
Yeah.
Dropped the N-bomb?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they were really trying to come at the show and take it off the air and thing. And Seinfeld was just smooth with it.
Yeah.
Went on the talk show, they tried to talk about it. He was just smooth.
Yeah, dude, he's pretty
not getting
remarkable
involved.
when it comes to interviews with stuff.
Yeah.
How he's just like, there's a great one of him just recently on where they're talking about comedians in cars doing coffee. What's the comedian? Okay.
Yeah. But,
so the host goes, I couldn't help by looking at the last few years. You've only had X amount of black comics on that show. And Seinfeld goes, oh, please, let's get into that now. By all means, that's the marker of a great show. You're absolutely right. By all means, let's bring up race.
Oh, wow.
It's so great that he just had the balls just to say that in the day and age when people, well, you think about it, there's most of the black gentlemen that I know, or, you don't have some sort of
trying to figure out a way to wiggle out.
He doesn't even wiggle. He's, no, by all means, let's sure. I'm an asshole.
Let's
okay.
do it.
Yeah.
Funny. My third would be Pryor.
Yeah.
And it's similar to what you were saying. Pryor was talking about stuff that he was actually doing, and he was talking about it in a day and age when things were still segregated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
yeah.
And his audience were mixed.
Yeah.
And he was able to talk about some painful stuff or some real stuff.
Yeah.
And they loved it. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's ballsy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I felt like Cosby was more on the safer side. He was clean and wholesome. Pryor was like, nah.
Pryor talked about every weakness he had on stage.
Yeah.
That's to bare your soul like that.
You know, and it's like, it could go either way.
Yeah.
Because I could feel bad and sad and cry.
Yeah.
Or I could laugh. And he had that ability to make it funny. So those are my
those are good ones,
my
man.
3 inspirations and why.
All right, man. Right into that camera. Spit. Tell your socials, whatever you want people to know.
If you look me up at Quinn Patterson, it'll bring up everything. My website, my Facebook, YouTube channel. So Quinn Patterson and everything will come up. And I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Lenny, for having me.
Thanks for doing this.
This was super
great,
cool, man. First one I've ever done. So don't hurt me too bad. People that are watching, it's my first one ever.
I've only got 5
Appreciate
viewers.
that.
No one cares. All right, brother.
You're still watching? That's amazing. Nobody does that. Nobody, but you did. That means you want more. Pick one of these clips. Go for it. I dare you. Hey, also follow one of those social media thingies.